La parole est à présent au représentant de la Fédération de Russie.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Do you hear me?
Yes.
We thank our distinguished briefers today, Mr. Mark Lowcock, Kudung-Yu, and Mr. David Beasley for their substantive overview of the current trends with food security in the world and relevant reports of FAO and WFP on the matter are always on our radars. The recent document of the Office of the Humanitarian Affairs that triggered today's discussion, of course, confirms how alarming the situation is. Indeed, the countries which are in focus of the mentioned OCHA's report, namely DRC, Yemen, South Sudan, and northeast part of Nigeria, experience human sufferings not only because of the problems with access to food for those in need. These states, for quite a number of years, have also suffered overall instability and lately have witnessed aggravation of insecurity. But this, unfortunately, is relevant to a number of countries, and of course it makes our discussion broader. We also take note of the emphasis some speakers make on the so-called humanitarian development nexus. Being so extensively promoted, this term still misses the clear definition. So far, we have not heard any explanation of what kind of new dimension does it bring to the existing cooperation between different agencies on the ground. That said, we're taking this opportunity to pay tribute to all humanitarian workers in the DRC, Yemen, Nigeria, and South Sudan for everyday fight they're taking with one goal: to help people most in need. Unfortunately, pandemic COVID-19 poses additional difficulties and restrictions to their work. Mr. President, the armed conflicts are not the only reason for increase in the number of food insecure people. Instead of focusing on the exclusive link between conflicts and hunger in the Security Council agenda, we need to consider other factors of food insecurity, namely volatility of prices at the world food market, stagnation of the world economy, insufficient scientific and technological potential in the field of agriculture, deficit of investments, degradation of environment, and another big challenge is the COVID-19 pandemic. Unilateral economic measures also have their place in this sad list, undermining the country's rights and capacities for development. Thus, Mr. President, the solution to the problem of conflict-induced hunger should be sought not only in the political domain. The toolkit of the United Nations development system of the humanitarian agencies play the primary role in addressing effectively the food insecurity challenges in building the industrial and agricultural potential of the countries. Another big aspect is ensuring compliance by all parties of the international humanitarian law, which is essential. Respecting the UN guiding principles of humanitarian assistance in accordance with the UNGA resolutions 46/182 promotes the understanding of unbiased nature of the provision of humanitarian aid. Russian Federation attaches vital importance to the fight with food insecurity. FAO and WFP are our main partners in this area. Through the aforementioned institutions, we allocated over $80 million for emergency food aid in 2018-19. In 2020, together with WFP, we're implementing a food assistance program for Yemen with funding of $4 million. And this year we provided $10 million to support FAO's work to combat locust outbreak in East African countries, including South Sudan. Mr. President, in conclusion, we want to reiterate our position that every conflict has its own nature and there is no universal recipe for every conflict-affected country to overcome the crisis. In this regard, we adhere to the position that food insecurity issues should be considered in the Security Council only in the context of particular countries that pose threat to international peace and security, with a close look to the root causes of the situation. Basically, the Council inevitably already touched upon these issues during relevant discussions of the situation in DRC, Yemen, South Sudan, and Nigeria. Thank you very much for your attention.
Je remercie le représentant de la Fédération de Russie pour sa déclaration.